Hello, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Eileen. First one in the chat. I am Keyoka. I'm the awkward black nomad. I'm a writer. I'm a dog mom, and I travel solo. This channel is for all the black girlies out there who want to do the same thing, who might be a little shy, who might be a little, she is already dancing in the background. I can't, who might be a little awkward, but they still want to go outside. Um, I have a guest today, and we're going to try to stay on task, to stay on topic. We're going to try, but we already got derailed this morning. So I'm gonna bring her up. Not my computer making noises. Let me bring her up. Already cutting up, and we just began.
Hey, hey, it's Friday. Hey. Okay.
This is Yvonne McBride. Tell the people who you are.
Hello, people. I am Yvonne McBride. I'm a literary artist, freelance editor, and freelance writer. I am also Lit Life Travels host and podcast host. Yeah. So for this video, that's what I am. That's who I am
Today, because it
today.
changes, right? Because we
Yes.
are a multifaceted queen, so it changes,
Yes.
of course.
Yes. I'm a shifter. I'm a chameleon. I'm a lot of things. But
We
yeah.
love to see it. I love to see it. Um, I was on your channel a few weeks ago, and we talked a little bit about my writing journey and how I ended up traveling. Today, I mean, I think you're doing a lot of amazing things. So I wanted to come bring you on the channel. We're writers over here, we're readers over here.
Yes.
Yes, we love to see it. We love to see it. Everybody, as you come into the room, please like the video. Please drop down in the comment section. Black folk, we speak when we come into the room, so please speak to us. Let me know you're there. Um, anyone, how are you? You're a writer. I don't know. What do you want to jump into first? Do you want to give us the origin story?
I guess we can start
Yeah,
there. Start at the beginning. Begin at the beginning. So I am based right now in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But I spent a lot of my after college formative years in Atlanta. So during my time in Atlanta, I was a youth director, I was an educator, working for various nonprofits in that area. And then I was on the American dream ladder, want to marry my little whoever and build my little house and, the little picket fence and all of that. I was on that route. And when I was 30, I was diagnosed with leukemia, right? So I went that route. I had to do a bone marrow transplant, all of that. Once I recovered, took me a few years, a lot of years, my 30s and early 40s to fully recover. I said, "Oh, I'm not doing that. Not doing that any longer. What is the next step? What is the next life?" I was not going to. I knew I didn't want to work a regular job anymore, right? Um, the the rate of survival going through a bone marrow transplant at that time, the mortality rate was really low. So I'm like, okay, well, this is my second chance. This is my second life, right? What do I want to do with my second chance? And I said, oh, I always wanted to be a writer. I always wanted to be a writer growing up. I always wanted to be a writer. I wrote poetry. You start with poetry. Um, but in the early 80s, 90s, that was not a job. You know, we didn't think it was a career move. That was a
it's
hobby.
it's still. Some people would say it's
Some people
still.
still do that. Exactly. Because some people in my family, like, they pay you for this. They pay you to do this. Yes, it's a career, it's a job. But so if we're still that way now, imagine back then, right? So I'm like, okay, I went to college I wanted to go for creative writing. I did not. I went for journalism because that's a writing, job.
Mhm.
Um, quickly changed from journalism because for some reason we had all these statistics and math classes we had to take. And I'm like, that's not my jam. So I changed my major to English education and English literature. All right. Did that, got out. But then I had the teaching degree, right? So it's English literature and teaching degree because that is the safe haven. So yeah, came out, did that on that route. Once I recovered from my, you know, illness, what am I going to do? I want to be a writer, but now how to start? How do I start being a writer? I knew I did not want to go back to school. I did not want to pay. I didn't like school. I didn't want to pay for MFA. So that was not going to be my route. How to make this happen. So yeah.
Jennifer in Frankfurt. Hey, Jen.
Hey
Good
Jen.
morning. Oh, good afternoon, your time. Guten Tag.
Hello. She's over. Oh, she's overseas. Hello.
Jennifer is in Germany. She was on my channel. So I want to pause you for a second because you said you were diagnosed with leukemia at 30. I'm
Yes.
31.
Yes.
That is life altering.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. That's
Mm-hmm.
insane. And at this time, were you single and doing it? Like, were you just like,
No. So at that time, actually, I had just not just I had been working for like Boys and Girls Club for like a year and a half, I think, 2 years, and I had my little boo, had a few boos. I had my little boo though, right?
yes,
The
we
one I
love a
thought,
harem?
listen, I'm off. Whatever. That's not this conversation, but I'm all for having two husbands. But we we
I did not
have a
expect you to say that.
little. Oh, I can do you. This is my plan. This is my ultimate plan, right? We're going to come back to the to the illness issue. My goal is to have my husband in Africa, right? And then husband somewhere else. Don't have to be US, but I can do 6 months with you in 6 months. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Um,
They all serve a purpose. Give
they
this
all have
person
their
a job,
own
this one's
space.
a
We
job.
have our own. Yes.
Yeah.
It's doable. So I'm scouting. So as I'm scouting countries, I'm scouting husbands in different countries too. Okay. All right. So back to the question at hand. Oh, it started by Boys and Girls Club. Was there for 2 years. I felt fine. Nothing was wrong. I was playing outside with my teens. We were playing volleyball outside with my teens. Something snapped in my back because I was an old 30. Something snapped in my back went out, right? So I was like, have to go to the doctor to see about the doctor. Went to the doctor, took tests, nothing was wrong. They gave me some pills, painkillers. But then they started to call me like, we need you to come back. We had started our summer program. So I was youth program director. I was running the main site for the Boys and Girls Club, the summer program, and the satellite site for the summer program. So I was running two programs at the same time. I did not have time to go to back to the doctor. I'm like, why are y'all sending me? I'll get there when I can. Kept sending me, kept calling me. So after summer program in the fall, they called me back like, hey, you need to come in. Something's wrong with your blood. I'm like, okay, shit. But I was feeling fine. I didn't think it was serious because nothing was wrong with me physically. I didn't feel anything. Went in. They said it looks like, when you have leukemia, your red blood cells and your white blood cells, you have a less amount than you should be operating at. Did another test, had leukemia, had chronic myelogenous leukemia. I needed a bone marrow transplant, apparently. So I said, okay, y'all let me know when y'all have a match. I went back to work because I'm still on my climb. I still have to had my little savings, for my house. Um, I was in the program, like first home buyer type program, right? I'm still on my okay. We're gonna knock this out, and we're gonna do this. Went back to work. They found, which is not, it's not normal. It's not, the regular thing that happens. They found a donor really, really quick. Like within 3 months, they found a donor. So I was still like, okay, we're gonna put this off till a few months. Let me get this in. They were like, no, you need to come in. So had the bone marrow transplant, and then you know, and that was 30. I was 31 when I had the actual transplant. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
I would
like you said,
say,
life changing.
yeah, and I would say like, so I'm the kind of 30 where, I should be able to drink some tea. I should be able to, get some Vicks Vapor Rub. There's a whole, the cost of going to the doctor in the US is so terrible that I have to be horizontal and unable to bring myself to the hospital. But if you're listening to this right now, if anybody who hears the sound of my voice, go to the doctor. Don't wait. Okay,
Go
don't
to the
wait to the
doctor.
very. That's the message that I'm receiving, and I'm conveying it to the people because I will not go to the doctor.
But I was still like, but it was the I was so involved because I love, I was in youth program development because I love the kids, right?
Mhm,
We was having a good time. But also I was on this, like, I have shit to get done because this American dream, right? I'm 30, I'm supposed to be this, I'm supposed to have this house, I'm on this road, whatever. If this I'm not I'm not thinking about, like, okay, before they told me what it was, why are y'all, I wasn't concerned because I felt okay, right? What could y'all be concerned about that you're not putting in these letters and on my messages? Like, what are you? I'll get there when I want to because I'm on this. I had this drive to get this stuff done because I had
mhm.
a time clock, right? I got my time clock. I'm 30. I'm supposed to have this. I'm supposed to have this. I'm supposed to have this. Y'all messing with my timeline,
Life,
basically. Y'all messing with my timeline. I got it, and I'll get there when I get there. But yes, just like you said, if the doctors are calling you to tell you we need you to come back, go back to the hospital.
right? I think you need to go. I think that sounds like a good idea. Yeah,
I
but see,
think you.
that's the problem with having that internal timeline of like shoulds. Like I'm supposed to have this. I should have this by now.
Right,
And I think, at least for me, being in the US, it's almost like you're pushed to have these sort of like monikers of success.
right,
Like I need to be a homeowner. I need to have a successful job. I need to have X amount of money in the bank account. And meanwhile, your health is suffering and you're not tuned into what's going on in your body because you have all of
exactly.
these external things distracting you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, let's transition from the health stuff. Because the progression of 30-year-old, oh my God, there's something going on with my body. I need to like figure that out to now the blank X-year-old who is living the life of her dreams and outside talking about she
Well,
wants
two husbands
multiple husbands. She wants two husbands.
or
We
two
get
partners.
there. Right. So like how did we get there, right? Because like when did you make that transition to, oh, I can actually support myself writing full time?
So it wasn't that. Oh no, it wasn't a thought that I can support myself writing. It was, I'm not going to work for anybody else
Mm,
in my life. So that was the driving. Like, I didn't have, after I went through the illness, which came with a whole bunch of stuff, right? I went through that whole period, and then what that what that period did to what it took away. There's some things that I can't have because of that right now. Um, I'm like, okay, well, if I can't have this, then I'm going to have this, right? If I can't have this type of life, if I can't have this life that I wanted, then I'm not going to make compromises on what I do want, right? I don't want to work for anybody else again. I don't want to work a regular, continuous 9 to 5 job. But how am I make that happen? So it wasn't like writing was one thing, but then I'm a really neat freak. I can organize. Like people call me to get me to organize their stuff. So I had a whole bunch of I like decorating, right? Interior decorating. So I had a whole bunch of what could this be? What could I do, right? Um, but writing was the easiest choice. So it came like that. It wasn't a decision like, oh, I'm a write and that's how I'm gonna live. That wasn't automatic. I just had to put the stuff up in the air, threw everything up. What are my talents, right? What are my talents? What have I always wanted to do? And writing is one of those things.
Mm.
Yeah. But then how to
So
start? Because again, I'm not going back to school. I'm not getting an MFA. I'm not giving anybody else any money. No, I'm not doing it. So how do I do it? So
are you speaking to me?
um
I feel like you were when you said that. I felt like you were talking to me
yeah,
because
yes,
the fact.
yes.
Let me tell you about this. So I think there's like a symptom of being a black girl, and whenever we get bored, we go and get a degree. Because when I tell you over the summer, I was like, should I get a doctorate? Like, just so somebody could call me like Dr. Kinsey. That could be a vibe. Just do it. And it's
Hell
like, what?
hell no.
Do you know?
But it's
Do you,
because listen, it's because our parents they thought that generation, right? They thought that and it was true for them that the secret to getting the whatever the American dream, the climbing out of to get to the next level was education, right? Because they didn't have a lot of them didn't have access to education, so they ingrained that in us. Oh, to live better, you have to go to school to live better, right?
Mhm.
And I always say, wow, well, my generation, a lot of us were graduating. I graduated in 91 high school, and we had watched a different world. You know what I mean? We were, oh,
Yeah.
we going to college. I'm going to the black college. I am going. You understand what I'm telling you? I'm going to meet me. Yes, I'm going. So we had watched a different world. It was all that. It was that next generation of collegiate black kids, right? But a few of my friends did not go to college. They started hairdressing. You know what I mean? They started carpentry and they were already making money by the time we came out with debt, right? So we're
Yeah.
not seeing that part. Anyway, it's ingrained in us that to go to the next level, we have to get more education. That's part of the reason.
Which
It
is
took me.
it. Well, it holds us back also, I think, because it's like I don't know what I was reading. I think it was The Miseducation of the Negro.
Aha.
And he talks about how like the education system puts you in a box, and that in a way is like debilitating because you're not thinking of how to get out of the box. You just realize like you're metaphorically are in a box, and that's why
Yes.
it keeps you stuck. You're
In
you're you can only
that
you can only
for
hit the
the rest of
ceiling.
your life. Exactly. You're in
Yes.
that for it carried like what you're in school for 4 years, 5 years, for me 6 years, but you know what I mean. But then you want to carry that box for the rest of your life. That doesn't even make sense. You
Yeah.
evolve, right? You evolve as a person. Your needs evolve. Your wants evolve. Your education, your knowledge evolves. So why would you pinhold yourself to whoever you were during these few years of yeah
Exactly. Exactly. And honestly, I think living the life of your dreams, a lot of it is unpacking the things that you thought you wanted, the like this idea that you had to live up to, and
yeah
really thinking about, okay, what is it that I do want? And I would say from at least some of the interviews that I've done on my channel, it always comes from, I call it a tower moment, but basically it comes from like a moment where everything gets you pinned it, everything comes undone. And
right
you're like,
right
what am I supposed to do?
right. When life is falling apart, it's falling in place. right? That's the, I don't know who said it. That's the saying. But when life is falling apart, it's falling in place. And I have to always remember that in, times of trials and tribulations,
Hmm.
something is coming, or something is in this moment that I need to recognize and pull out, you know what I mean, to make it to the next level. But yeah, and life is stages, right? You have your what, infancy stage, your childhood stage, your young adult stage. There are stages to life, and how can you evolve and be your highest self if you are stagnant in all these phases?
Mm.
It's a
Yeah.
constant evolution, and in changing, you should be stripping things every and for through each transition. Something should be taken away. Something has to be taken away in order for you to get to the next step, right? In order for you to create your next life, something has to be stripped away in each transition you go through.
Yeah. And what's crazy is you'll stay stuck until you realize that you need to
Yes.
let whatever it is go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
The people,
what about
the dreams that you once had, right? Whatever those may be, they may not be working. They may be earlier dreams. Give those up, you know what I mean? And create some more dreams. You can always dream another dream.
you
Always.
can always dream another dream? Yeah. So, what challenges, when you were in this transitional phase, what challenges did you have? So, you talked a little bit about figuring out the path that you wanted to take and then deciding that you wanted it to be writing. But what kind of hiccups did you come in contact with while you were going
I
through
had
this phase?
I had no community, none. It's like no professional writing community. It was no one really writing around me seriously, or I didn't have contact to those people. So I had to go find a writing community. I was in Atlanta at the time. Um, I was, writing myself, but I would have to seek out people who were doing the same things that I did, right? Um, so I reached out, to friends, associates. I started with like a little writing group in Atlanta of peers. And then, we would bounce ideas off each other, write, have little writing meetings, bounce ideas off each other, edit. But then that is no one in that circle were professional writers. It's like, okay, to get better, I have to get around professional writers or people who do this for a living. So I started looking at different colleges, not to go back to school, but to have like, they have annex classes, night classes, writing groups, right? So I went to a few, Emory had a few in Atlanta, writing classes, libraries, things like that were, that were taught by writers, regional writers. Start doing that. So that was my second leg to try to improve my writing as well as get into writing circles. So did that for a while, and then when I thought I had, good enough, and this is fiction writing, not poetry, and it's not freelance. This is fiction writing at the time. So yeah, so then I started to look for different. I realized in these groups, because these are diverse groups of people, some of my content, they couldn't give me feedback on that I was looking for, or their feedback was not wrong, but it was from their perspective. It wasn't from, black people perspective. So all right, I think my work is good enough. Let me start applying to like workshops, right, for black people. So I know whatever feedback they give me, you know what I mean, my peers and the professors, it won't be for this. It won't be for these type of things. They already understand the culture. It won't be trying to like, edit my grammar in my on my pages, or asking what does this mean, in my pages. So let me start doing that. So started my first, I think my first, who did I apply for first? Hurston Wright Foundation at the time had a writer's workshop for a whole week. So I applied to that. I think that was my first application. Got in, went, started building my writing community.
I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Hi, Maya. Hi, Tracy. Yes, we evolve. Yes. I want to touch on something because I did not have a very good experience with my MFA program. Okay. And a large reason why is because when you're a Black writer and you're in a predominantly white or other space, they do not get it. Okay.
No.
I've had people ask me, well, why can't we change your main character's name to something that's a little bit more easier to pronounce? Or just something that the general population could relate to.
Yes. Yes.
Honestly, like the
Or
questions that I've
like
had.
uh, like like chitlins, right? I had wrote
Right.
something. I had chitlins. So they knew what chitlins were, but then the professor were like, "Well, just write out chitterlings." Nick, I'm sorry. No, because any
No,
no, no. And then
no.
like sayings like sayings that we have that not necessarily use vernacular, or just phrases. I was I was tired of seeing circled in my feedback. What does this mean? You know what I mean? Like y'all missing the
Yes.
whole. You're focused on this. You're missing the whole motif or lesson or whatever I'm trying to say in this story. No,
Yeah. And
I'm not.
that's the point
I'm
too,
not
right?
paying money. I'm not paying money to get this feedback.
Yes. That's the point because it's one, they don't understand the social context, but it's also I'm not getting the feedback to push my
Yes,
writing further because you're
yes,
stuck on how do you spell chitlins? How I'm spelling chitlins. You're not
yeah.
talking to me about imagery. We're not talking about this motif. You don't
No,
understand the progression of my main
you're
character.
not giving me
You're
anything
stuck
I
here.
need. No.
No, no. So
And I'm and if I want to say nigga in my damn I'm sorry. In my in my pages, I'm going to say that. Like
yes,
I'm going to say it. I don't know. Some black people have a problem with it too. I'm gonna say it. It's my pages. So things like that. I'm like, all right, I need to be over here. I need to
yeah. And
be over here.
it is
And that's not
authenticity.
because I knew people in MFA programs. That was part of the reason I was not going because I'm not going to spend good money, good money, or even my time. Even if they offered me a fellow, I'm not going to spend my time to get this feedback. Especially
Yeah.
when, no, I'm not doing it. So yeah,
No, it's not worth it. And honestly, I hated writing after a while afterwards. So
right.
it's like something that I really enjoy doing, something that I really loved. It's almost like the passion for it kind of got stripped
Yes,
away going through months and months of this kind of rigorous process of getting this feedback back where it's like, oh, you're taking the soul out of my writing and I don't feel connected to it anymore.
yes,
So
yes. And
if
like
anybody is considering it, I wouldn't do
it
it.
messes with your unless you find like an awesome program. There are programs
Right.
out there. There are programs out there. But if they are that awesome, it's really hard to get in. You know what I mean? The
Hmm.
acceptance rate is probably like 9%. So, you know,
But there are just
it
other
is.
ways. There are just other ways, right? So if you're somebody who isn't surrounded by writers and you want to build community with writers who look like you, that just means you
Right.
need to do a little bit of research, right? So, like looking into programs, looking into writing retreats,
Yeah.
the
I would
Pen
say
Power
start with
group on Facebook.
yeah, yeah. I would say start with groups like I have it. Midnight and Indingo, right? Midnight and
Oh, yeah,
Indingo.
yeah.
They have anthologies. You see that? And they have like it's not even workshops. They have like writing classes, right? If you poetry, nonfiction, they have writing classes where you could just sign up. You don't have to. It's not a whole course. It's not 1,000 something dollars. It's like maybe from $50 to $500, whatever. They have courses that you can just like take at your pace to improve your writing, right? And then, you can start submitting to their anthologies, to them to get that, submission muscle work worked on because it is a
Yeah,
muscle.
it is a
But
muscle.
yeah, Night and Indingo. Who else? Who did I write down? Roots, Wounds, and Words. They have
I
conferences.
should be writing some of these down. Let me put it in the chat.
Yeah. I wrote a few down. You know, and I have some few more. I was supposed to have my download ready for you, but I but I do
I
not
did
have
not.
it.
I have not checked
Um,
my email. So,
but
so
if you are interested in a list of writing workshops for Black and Brown people, I have it, and I'll send it to you. Just reach out.
yes, hit Yvonne up, Yvonne up on Instagram. I'll put her Instagram in the chat. And if you like what Yvonne is saying, she has a YouTube channel, everyone. She has her own YouTube channel. And I'll also put that in the chat and in the description box. And I'll also remind everybody to like the video. And if you are here, that means you like what we're saying. So please drop down in the comments and let us know how you really feel, right? Give some love. Give some love. Okay, so we talked a little bit about your journey to get to writing. So how are you sustaining your journey? I know previously you've told me about grant writing, like writing grants or programs that you're in. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So once I started getting a good had some drafts down, right? Went to workshops, went to Callaloo workshop, went to Vona Voices workshop, went through all these workshops, right? I was like, okay, you know, I got my voice, working on my voice, your writer's voice. What's next, right? Got me a community, got me a mentor, had a few writing mentors, got a nice writing circle, a few different pockets of writing circles from different workshops I was going to. Um, I wanted to write a book. I wanted to write a novel. My novel that I'm still working on is based in where I'm from, Pittsburgh, in the Hill District. And the Hill District was known or put on the international map by August Wilson, the playwright. All his plays except one, are based in Pittsburgh's Hill District. So that's where I'm from. So yeah, I want to write a book about this. I need to be there. So I have been in Atlanta for 20 plus years. Um, my book that I was workshopping in these writing retreats and writing conferences was about Pittsburgh. I was like, all right, you know, I need to be there or I need to go there. So during this time, I'm going back and forth from Atlanta to Pittsburgh to interview musicians who lived during the jazz age in Pittsburgh, or Pittsburgh's jazz age in the mid-century. So I was going back and forth, and the elders, because they were elders at this time, I would get here, they weren't feeling well. So I couldn't, I couldn't interview them or I had to postpone. So I'm like, all right, this is not working. At the same time, my brother had a daughter, my niece. Hi, Sky. My niece, and she was an infant. Um, and my nuclear family, our immediate family, were in Atlanta. So I'm like, all right, I want to write this book. I need to be in Pittsburgh. My niece has been born, and Pittsburgh gives away a lot of artist money and art a lot. Like I kept seeing these grants. I'm like, why? And so I'm looking at Pittsburgh, and then I'm looking at Atlanta. Atlanta's not giving any grants. Atlanta is the whatever capital or whatever, Black Mecca, whatever, but they're not giving any money to artists, right?
I have thoughts on
Pittsburgh used
Atlanta.
to, yeah, none. Where they give they give money to organizations, right? Who are then I guess dole out money to the artists they want, but it's saturated. Pittsburgh is giving a lot of money at the time. It wasn't even a lot at the time. It was just they giving some money to artists, individual artists, to Black individual artists. So I'm like, all right, I'm about to leave, made my leap here, which made researching the book easier. and I didn't have the money when I got here, but I started applying. So the first two times I applied for the grant, I didn't get it, but I was still here. Um, and then I applied the third time, got the grant. So I discovered for artists, not only just writers, but for artists, oh, it's money over here for people, people to make their work. Got you. That's all you had to tell me. All right, I'm here. So I moved here in 2013. I've been here ever since.
But how did you discover these grants? Like, were you using, I don't know, I'm
So at the
might
so
show
no,
my
at the
age.
time, how did I discover? Because at the time, okay, so funny story. I'm a Luddite. I did not I didn't have a cell phone until I moved here, until 2013. I didn't have a cell phone. I used Magic Jack. Y'all remember Magic Jack? You probably don't
No,
remember.
no,
Magic
I don't
Jack.
remember what that is.
I did not have social media. I had Facebook. That's all I had. I didn't have a cell phone. I was I didn't want any social life. I didn't have anything, right? So I didn't I found out about it because I think one of my friends was telling me about the grant that they have up here for, and then I looked it up. I looked it up on, oh, they got grant money. So from there, I started looking up on Google, on the internet, writing grants, right? But I knew Atlanta didn't have these grants because I'm looking up Georgia grants for artists, and all their artist grants were for organizations. There were no grants that I could see that was based on giving people money, individual artists money, right? So, it was just started from researching that way, looking up. But once I saw that the grants were available here, I started looking in different, you know, states to see who gave away money.
So, oh, somebody knows what Magic Jack is. Maya said, shout out to Magic Jack. That was a time.
It was a time, yes. Magic Jack, because Magic Jack was just that's when like the internet was out, but then that's when streaming cell phones at that time was still like new, like flip phones and stuff like that. But you can get this is before we had streaming, right? So the telephone companies had started to figure out, oh, we don't have to go through Bell or to go through AT&T. We can use the streaming service for your phone. Magic Jack. You plug in like you plug in your Fire Stick or whatever. You plugged in your Magic Jack, and you didn't need to be on like this. It sounds like it's the 70s. It's not, y'all. It's not. It was the 90s.
I don't know what you're saying. I'm trying to follow. I'm
I
really,
did not have
I'm
a cell phone, and
tapping.
I did not have a house phone. I had Magic Jack. You plug it in like you plug your phone, and that was your phone. Yes.
So it's a
I did not have.
device that receives
Yes,
calls.
and you plug it into your phone like a regular phone, like a rotary phone. You plug that
Okay.
in your phone because I did not want a cell phone. Yes. Yep.
All right. All right. Moving along.
Yes.
So,
I'm older. I am 51. These are the things. These are the transitions we had to go through. Rotary phone, cell phone. I thought cell phones still gave you brain cancer. No, I'm not using that. No.
okay. Okay. Let's rewind. So you were finding writing grants by you would just type in writing grants for Black writers or something like that, and
No,
then do it
no,
based on
no.
city.
Writing grants in the state. That's where you start your
Oh, in
research.
the state, in the
Not
state.
even no, no, not even writing. Artist grants. Artist grants. Federal artist grants. You look up federal artist grants first to see what is available if you meet those things. But if you're just starting out, you're not gonna get a federal grant. Federal grants are for professional writers with books and things like that, right? So if you're
Like
just
already
starting out,
previously published. So if you've never
yes,
published before,
yes, yes. This is way before any published publication. Um, you want to look for grants for emerging writers, right? You have a few little workshops under your belt, a few little publishings, maybe like now you can, have your own blog, things like that, right?
hmm
but no for emerging grants. So then you look for federal, then you look for statewide, then you go down to citywide. Where do they give, money? Like, and usually citywide grants are for artists come from people who are trying to retain their talent, right? People who have populations that are leaving because of whatever, the lack of income, the lack of housing, the lack of whatever. So like cities like Detroit, um, because they're going through that thing. Pittsburgh, because it's becoming a artist centered, a cultural centered city. These people, they don't want their talent to leave, so they give money for them to to stay, to retain their talent here.
Okay. So you have
Yeah,
to actually be living in the state or the
usually,
city for the grants.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Usually, I have not seen like yeah, because they want to say this is what we do for our people who are residents, right? This is why you should stay. This is why you should come here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So like you talked a little bit about the writing programs you've done or the writing conferences you've gone to. How have those been beneficial for you?
Oh, everything. Like it gives you confidence. One, right? It improves your craft. You cannot even I I didn't think this, but if I thought I was the best writer, whatever, it humbles you. You know what I mean? You need feedback for your writing to get better. So if you're not getting that through MFA program, you have to get that through somebody, right? So okay, for instance, if I take somebody sends me something to edit and they say, "Oh, you know, my friends looked at this and they think it's good. What do you think?" Right? So I'm like, "You are your friends writers? Are your friends, professional writers? Do they write?" So to get better, you cannot shop your stuff around people who are not writers, right? People who don't know what they're doing and people who don't know what to look for. So it did that for me. Going to these workshops did that for me. And I'm a great editor looking at somebody else's stuff, but I can't edit myself, right?
Yeah.
I'm like a book doctor. I can, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Those are my suggestions. But when I look at my own stuff, I'm like, I don't know what the hell. I don't know how to fix this,
Or you're
right?
like, this is a masterpiece. This is the greatest thing I've ever written. So I don't see
Or
anything wrong with it.
or that, right? It's either that because you can't tell me what
You're like, oh, I
I'm not.
did that.
Yes, either that or I don't know what the fuck to do. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Somebody need to tell me what I'm doing, right? So that workshops have done that for me. Outside of that, like it has given me community. My very first workshop that I went to, which was Hurston Wright workshop, I met, I had a great group, but this one person, Gail, hi Gail, um, throughout these years, I went there in 2010. It's 2024. We still, like, from time to time, she calls me like, I need to work this out. Can you read this for me? Yes. Send that to her. Like 2 years ago, we were doing our own like accountability with each other because we wanted to get in more publications, right? So that type of connection, it gives you that type of circle, inner circle, and she makes me get better, right? She sees things in my writing because she's a writer. She's a educator too. She teaches writing.
Oh,
She had
yeah.
an MFA. She went to MFA, right? So she's on another level. So she can help me with stuff that I don't know about or I don't see in my own writing. So that's one thing it has done for me. It's given me mentors. It's given me access to a literary world what I would not have because I did not go to an MFA. So it's given me the access to these people. Some writers who had some award-winning writers I am friends with. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it has opened my world up to the traditional literary world. Yep.
So if you're, I don't know, somebody working in IT and you want to be a writer, the first thing you need to do is build your community up with writers, probably who look like you, preferably,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
also like who have experience, who don't have biases, and who can evaluate your work. The second thing
Yes.
you want to do is to figure out where you can submit, right? So find either like, small magazines, online publications, local
Yeah.
things. Third thing you want to do is look into getting into some writing grants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some artist grants, writing, publications, building your
Yes.
community, and then figuring out a way to make money from the thing that you love.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So for the first, right, because as you if you're writing fiction, memoir, if you're doing these things, and we're not talking about freelance, right? So if you're doing these things, those things are really not making you a lot of money, right? So you need something to help you, supplement your income. You need, if you're going to spend a lot of time, and that was one thing that we're talking about challenges about this writing life, but one thing is you do need money. If I'm not working, if I don't have a 9 to 5, where's your money coming from? How are you surviving?
Right.
How are you paying your rent? Right. So grants, was one of the ways I supplemented my income, because I want to write full time. I want to write full time. That's all I want to do. I just want to sit on the beach, write, and drink. That's all I want to do. Right. But you know, life happens. Life gets in the way, and you still, I found myself, I gotta go take this gig because I need money, but it's taken away from my writing. You know what I mean? Like, so, grants help in that way.
Hi, Dee. Buenos dias.
Hey, hey,
We were
lady.
talking about Atlanta. Dee's in Atlanta right
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
now.
yeah.
So then,
She said I walked right into the money. You sure did. You sure did. Right on time. You was sitting back. You was waiting.
okay, so we talked about the different kinds of writing. I know you're working on a novel right now, but you've previously written fiction. You've also written some travel articles. So can you talk
Yeah.
about the difference between the two and how a person could make money doing either? So we know about like grants on the fiction side,
Right. Until
until
your book is
until your
completed.
book
Right.
is published.
So
But as
that's
far as
yes, that's what happened. I was like, all right, I need some more money. I still don't want to work. I need more money. I need more money. I still don't want to work for nobody. What can I do? And I have been thinking about, I want to travel. I want to travel. I want to travel. How can I travel and get paid to travel? Basically. Um, but also I'm a Luddite. I don't like to be on social media, right? So it was still this, like, I don't want to be an influencer. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. So how am I going to work this out? So I have been thinking about travel writing for a long, long time, like writing, freelance writing for a long, long time. But you know, when you make your own time, when you have your, like, what we talk about? Last year, Exodus Summit was time freedom, financial freedom, and location freedom, right? I got time freedom, right? I got all the time freedom. I got time freedom. I don't have everything else, but I got time freedom. But having time freedom, right? It's like a balancing act. So if you enjoy your time freedom too much, then your resources are depleted. Um, Need to travel, right? I've been doing this for so long. I mean, I've been writing. I can write. I know I can write. I'll get around to it, right? I'll get around to it. So I think Wanda Duncan. Wanda was the first person who had her Black Nomad workshop, had a agents, had editors, not agents, editors come to talk about how to get in the travel writing field, right? At the time, it was Deanna Taylor, who was at the time person over Travel Noir. She had a few other editors. Um, Futter's travel editor come talk to us, and one other person from Travel Leisure. She's no longer there. But this is how you pitch to us, right? This is how you pitch to us.
good lineup.
Pitch us something. Right, right.
That's a really
Pitch
good
us something.
lineup.
And it was direct contact. Like, they came to talk to us. It was a small, it wasn't as big as Exodus Summit, but it was a small group. They talked to us and pitch us, send us something. So after that, I'm like, all right, you don't have no excuse now, right? You have the direct links, pitch them. My first story I pitched was on Michelle Wedderburn from Casa Am, and she had just began to put together Casa Am, her relocation tours. First pitch I put out, put it to Trevor Noir, got in. That was the first one. So I was like, all right, and pitching, people overthink pitching. I knew how to pitch, so I just started, you know, pitching to other,
How did you know how to pitch?
because I was a grant writer for the
Ah, so writing the grants helped you learn how to pitch for the
yeah,
travel
right.
publications.
Yeah. And I had been, even before I was grant writing for myself, I was a grant writer for the nonprofits I work with. So I knew how to condense what you needed, your proposal, the outcomes, and all of that. I knew what they were looking for, and every grant, it has different, different requirements. But I knew the gist of it, so the pitch is just different. It's just a scaled down proposal of what you can do, what you offer, what is your hook, what you can offer, what you're gonna give them. That's the pitch, basically. Yeah.
So, do you have any tips for writing pitches?
Yes. Keep it under 250 words if possible. Really quickly, have a hook, have a headline. Write your headline in the pitch. Have a hook. What is the hook? Is it timely? Is it like a brand name person that you want to feature? Is it a new idea for a new place? Yeah, so have a hook. Then after your hook, have a summary paragraph of what this piece that you want to pitch to, or what this offer that you're giving them. Do that in a short passage. After that, whatever other thing you want to handle, like in this passage or in this piece or in this feature. So everything should be short and concise, though. Like a what do they call it? An elevator pitch, right? Hook, first elevator pitch, second elevator pitch, sign off. Hope to hear from you soon. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have
So,
samples.
you have a
Yeah,
sample.
I
Where's the
have
sample?
samples, and so Maya's group. If Maya is still here, we had a writing group after Exodus Summit. I put some samples in there. I can't. This is work. See, I want I want to say I'll provide
Hi,
samples.
Angela.
Hey, Angela. Yeah. If you reach out, I'll provide you with a few pitching samples.
If you join Pin Power,
Yes. If you join Pin Power, Maya's writing group, it was an Exodus Summit spinoff. There are some samples in the group. Yeah.
yes, yes. If you want pitching help, and then showing like, I think that's the thing about building community with writers. So, like, if you reach out to anyone in the group, they're willing to help you, you know? So like if you just want a second pair of eyes, if you want, you know, some tips, I'm sure if you
Yeah.
reach out to anybody, they're willing to help you.
Yeah.
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 So let's see. What has been the most difficult part of your writing life?
um, it's a few things. We're gonna make the financial part the last part, because when we okay, so this is the funny part. When I said to you, oh, we could do a video, we can do a video. Let me come on and talk about creating a life of ease through writing. It's not easy. I ain't about to sell. Listen, y'all. I'm not about to sell you no. We're gonna talk about the real. I do not have a life of ease, financially.
Yet.
Right? Yet financially. Again, I had time freedom. I enjoy my time freedom. I like getting up when I want to. I don't have to. I'm not accountable to anybody but myself. Right. I can travel whenever I want because I don't have to put in my request to anyone to travel. Right. So it's the balancing act of that is my hardship, is like, all right, making myself, because I work as much as I want to work. You know what I mean? I get money as much as I get the money, but it's the balancing act, because like right now I'm waiting for a grant that I was supposed to receive You know who you are if y'all watching. Um, I went. I'm waiting for a grant that was awarded August 6th. We about to be in November. You ask me if I have received a cent. No. So
When you're,
so
wait, I have a question about that. So when you're applying for grants, could you apply to more than one at the same
no,
time? And then is it possible, like, do they have, I'm thinking of a non-compete, but do they have like a, if you accept one grant, you
no,
can't accept another?
because you're independent. You're no, no,
Hmm.
never, no. I haven't come across one, but it doesn't make any sense. You're a person. No, they because you're as a for an artist grant. This is not a for profit, right? For artist grants, any artist grants are given to you to support your work, whatever you want to do, according to their guidelines, right? So no, there's no. It's not a contract with them about, but they don't want you. No, because their work belongs to you. It doesn't belong to them once it's finished. It's a philanthropy, is people giving money to artists, to organizations to say, oh, we support this, what they're doing. They don't, no, it's not.
Okay.
It's not a thing. Yeah. But again, I haven't received no money. So I
Where's the
had to
money?
go, I had to take some pickup jobs because I got no money, right? And Pittsburgh is like Atlanta, and like, whatever. They have Pittsburgh is like a film city. So I apply for extra work on films, right? On commercials, or do that. So I do commercials sometime. I do, I don't have I'm not I don't have an agent. This is just extra work that I have to manage while I'm waiting for, while you don't have any money. While I'm waiting for a grant. I also, and we're not gonna get into this because this podcast is not about that, but I also started doing trips to make, that's another way that I supplement my income. I like to travel. How can I do that and make money? I sponsor group trips, right? I host group trips. So I did that this summer. So, balancing the money is is a a I'm not gonna say a hardship, but you know, it's prevalent when you are a
Yeah.
freelance writer with no 9 to 5.
Yeah. And I would say too, like, another writer told me, Halana Black told this to me. You have to treat your business as a business and you always have to market yourself. So
Yes.
like you're constantly putting yourself out there, you're constantly pitching, constantly like applying for grants if that's what you do. So that way, even when it like dries up, you have something else to kind of tide
Yes.
you over.
Yes.
We have a question
I'm
from
not good
D.
at marketing myself. Mm-hmm.
I have a question from D. She's saying, I hear that writing online articles is very lucrative because of the ads that are placed within the article. Do you do any of that?
No.
So
So
that's
yeah.
actually a different thing. So content writing means you're maybe writing for online publications. So like if you have a blog, that would be considered content writing. Copywriting would be if you're writing a blog for a company,
Yes. And the
right?
company, if they're getting ad, the company gets the money. I don't get the money.
Exactly. Exactly.
I
She
don't get the money
wouldn't
because
get
I don't
money
have a blog.
exactly. So unless she had her own blog that was monetized and she could have ads on it or get sponsors or whatever, then yes, you can get a lot of money. But usually to get that, your blog has to have a lot of traffic. For advertisements to want to be featured on your blog, it has to have a lot of incoming traffic.
Yes. Like Very Smart Brothers, when they had their podcast. So one brother, Damon Young, if y'all have heard of him, he's a writer. Um in Panama Jackson. They had a huge following and they had their own platform. So they were getting ads and it went to them. Their money went to them. And actually they were a subset of a publishing media thing. So I don't know how much money they were getting, but their ads, probably a portion of their ads were going to them because their following is so huge. I don't even have a blog. So I get paid from freelance writing. I write for like articles for Essence. I get paid what they want to pay me, basically. And it's nice money, but it's you get paid more for print. right? You get paid more for print in any. It doesn't even matter what publications. You get paid more for print than you do for online articles.
Yeah. We're still not out of the clear when it comes to print. People still care about print.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's still trying to get into that. I've done a few pieces for Essence in print, and it's better money than, of course, digital. But yeah,
how often would you say someone should be pitching, like if they want to be a travel writer, how often should they be pitching magazines?
more than me. They should be pitching. They should be pitching. They should be pitching. You should pitch. You should be putting out like 5 pitches every week. I would say, if you don't want to be burnt out, 5 pitches to new markets each week, right? So last week I put out 3. I got a yes for 1, and it was for Essence. And I don't take rejection well, right? So when I pitch to travel and leisure, I'll be like, okay, let me see. And then when I don't hear back, I'm like, ugh, I get dejected really fast. But you should put out at least, especially for the markets that you want to be in. I should be putting 5 pitches out for travel and leisure. I will. That's my goal
So the goal is 5 pitches a week. If
to
you
start
don't
off.
hear back, to start off, if you don't hear back from any of them, how often do you follow up?
I follow up a week to 2 weeks after. And they usually after your second follow up, first follow up. Yeah, after a second follow up, they'll usually get back to you. Travel and leisure ghosts you sometimes. Big publications ghost you sometimes, especially if you're just emerging. But usually they get back to you to say no, it's not going to fit. Whatever. But
So
yeah, you get
if
more
a
no's.
person,
That's it. You get more no's
oh yeah,
than you get.
rejection, rejection. I
Yes.
hope you don't have soft feelings.
Yes, that's what's hard to manage. You ask the question, so to answer the question, whatever you found hard to manage is rejection. Yes, because
And
I
it
go ahead.
shouldn't be a deterrent
No,
though, because all you need is one yes.
yeah,
All you need is one
exactly,
yes.
yeah. But that's
Um, yeah.
so you should be pitching more. I should be pitching more. You should be pitching more because your what is it? The acceptance rate is low, especially when you're starting off. So you should be pitching more to get more yeses, basically.
Yeah. To
5 to
me,
get 5 to 1, right? You
mathematically,
just you get one yes.
exactly. So like mathematically, that helps me because I'm like, oh, okay, like that means if I send out 500 pitches, I should at
Yes.
least get, I can't do math, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yes,
Like it
yes.
gives you an idea. It gives you an idea. Like, okay, if I send out 5 pitches, I'm gonna get one yes. That means I just need to send out more pitches so I can get more
Right,
yeses. It shouldn't be
right.
a deterrent.
No. And it's just like, when you talk about when you talk about books, right? Talk about novels. Toni Morrison sent The Bluest Eye out to what, 75 times, 100 sometimes. She got one yes, but she kept sending it out. So it's any submission process, right? Any submission process for anything, freelance writing, an agent, a book publication, anything, you're going to get more no's, but you got to keep going.
Yeah, definitely. I think. Sorry, Bernie and Frank are cutting up.
No more water.
Yeah. Um, so do you have any tips for anybody who is just starting out? They don't have any travel writing experience, but they want to pitch these big publications. Would you say you would start out with pitching like a big, like a travel and leisure, or would they start off with like something smaller that maybe is
If they
unpaid?
know how to pitch. If you are a writer, you know how you can't. If you know how to pitch, don't pitch to travel and writer if you're not a. I mean, travel and leisure if you're not a writer, because then you'll be fumbling. You know what I mean? Like if you're not practiced at pitching, no, they're not even gonna. You need to practice pitching. If you know how to pitch, go ahead. But if you need to practice your pitch with like local newspapers, right? Local magazines, um, digital magazines, new and up and coming digital magazines. Start with your pitching then if you're not a writer, right? Or if you're
Mm.
just an emerging writer. If you have some writing under your belt and you feel confident, go ahead and pitch to Travel and Leisure. I mean, pitch to Travel and Leisure if you want, but pitch to like Futter's Travel. There are mid levels, right? Um, what did I think of? And these are not even mid levels, but when people think of travel writing, they think of Condé Nast. Condé Nast, they think of Travel and Leisure, they think of the big ones, right? There are other look at your state, right? You can write travel pieces for your travel, your culture and travel magazines for your state. You can write for your local magazines. They have a travel section. You know what I mean? You can start there, pitching to those, pitching to your regional magazines, your regional newspapers. Start there first if you're not comfortable. I was kind of comfortable. I pitched to Essence. I knew I can pitch, so I wasn't. I didn't play local. My first Essence pitch was for Adelia, and I didn't think it was going to be print, but I did. I was like, all right, let me just send this out to see what they say. They said yes. So if you are comfortable, if you know how to pitch, I don't say start small. You start for where you want to see your work in. I want to see my work in Essence. I pitch to Essence. If you are
Yeah.
emerging and working on your pitching, I would say start like locally.
What about if they want to build a portfolio first? What should they
You
do?
can do
Do
that
you think
simultaneously.
it's necessary? Do you think it's
No,
necessary? Yeah.
no, and that's going against what other people say because I didn't. I'm gonna tell you what I did. I'm not like, yeah, I can only go from my experience and what I see. People want people to start because then if you're just building your portfolio, well, tell me what does that mean to you? What does that look like to you?
So I think it would go back to the different kinds of writing, right? So for like let's say travel writing, I don't necessarily think you need a portfolio for travel writing. Like if you're pitching an editor, I would say for copywriting, you would need a portfolio because people want to know that you can sell.
So you
They want to know
need
that you can write in a way that sells.
you need some examples, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you need some examples to show them. I had what did I say? I didn't I didn't I didn't show them anything. I didn't show them anything.
But
But
some people say you write the pitch the same way you would write the article.
yes, like I know. Okay, so I know I'm gonna sell you in my pitch. I know I'm gonna sell you in my pitch, right? Um, I didn't for my first pitches. I didn't, but okay, no, I had an advantage though. For my first pitches, I had Wanda. I had the connection because that was my first pitch, right? To Trevor Noir, Deanna Taylor, because the Wanda made the connect. So, and my first two Futters travel pieces was because Wanda made the connect. So use your connections. If you have connections,
Right.
use the connections. So I didn't have to show them anything, no travel writing pieces because I hadn't done any. Um, but Wanda had made the connect. So once I got those, but it was only two. I showed Essence the two that I did with Futters and Travel Noir. I attached that to the pitches for Essence, but it wasn't a lengthy portfolio. It was two pieces,
Yeah. So what
right?
Yvonne is saying is that she's going to be our connect. So I'm gonna put her YouTube channel down here. I've put her Instagram in the chat. If
If
you
you
want,
can't write a pitch, I'm gonna get you to be able to write a pitch because editors. I haven't sponsored a conference yet. Editors don't like you giving their information out. I can't be giving her their information out, but I'm gonna get you good. If you haven't written a pitch, we're gonna get you to the level that you can write somebody a pitch and pitch your own stuff. That's what we're gonna do.
pitch your own stuff. Give you the tools that you need to go at it
Yes,
alone.
yes,
Maya is asking on rejection. It feels personal, but it's not personal. The editor is just saying, not right now for this piece. You may have another idea that's a better fit. Exactly.
yes.
Or
Yeah.
if they don't respond to you, you can just silently think that it's a yes and they just are playing hard to get.
Usually, unless it's like a bit like if you're emerging and you send a pitch to National Geographic, you might get not getting a response, right? But after the first follow up or the second follow up, somebody will say at least no. Like stop sending those stuff. No, no, right? I don't get ghosted a lot.
I'll be getting ghosted. It's part of the process. It's a part of the process. I'll be getting
I said a
ghosted.
lot.
I ain't gonna
I
hold
do
you.
get. I tell you, Trevor and Leisure will ghost your ass. What, ma'am? No.
When I tell you pitching is like a part-time job, if writing is your full-time job, pitching is your part-time job.
Yeah, and I don't like to work, so that's why I say I don't pitch a lot. I don't pitch a lot because then, like, if I get this pitch, then I have to work. So I'm balancing that
Yvonne,
out too.
that's because you on your life of ease stuff.
With no money.
With no, so
Don't
then,
ask me no.
okay,
I already
so
told her
then,
don't ask me no questions. I don't be on the poll, but don't ask me no questions for real. Yeah.
but if you on the poll, we want to hear about it. The girls love to
I
hear about feet pics and
I don't have no ass.
etc.
If I had a butt, I'd be on the poll. I tell y'all where I was. Come give me some money. I don't have no ass, and I don't have no upper arm strength. I can't pull myself up on the pole.
Unrelated, there's some
No,
athleticism in stripping. You really have to
no,
be
I'm not fit enough.
fit. You really have to
Mm-mm.
be fit to strip.
We do it all
But
around here. We ain't about to shame nobody. Get your money. You understand what I'm telling you?
get your
Get
money. But if you want to be a writer, you have to put yourself out there.
yes,
Apply for grants, pitch
yes,
magazines, figure out, I think that's
yes,
important. Like, figure out what kind of writing you want to do and then figure out your niche, right? Because we're talking about travel writing, but I feel like the same tips would go, like, if you're somebody who's a foodie, like, or, and you want to write for food magazines, if you're somebody who, um, I don't know, likes tech and you want to write for like tech magazines, I feel like that's something different. But
right.
you get what I'm saying. Like,
Find your
figure out
niche.
what you're really into, find your niche, and then
And travel. I wanted to travel write, but I wanted to write other stuff too. I wanted free. I wanted to write other stuff. I write. Well, we'll get into that later. But like, I like architectural digest, right? I like interior design. So I was pitching to Domino too, right? I was pitching to those. It's just I didn't have no connects there, and I didn't have nothing to, you know, show them there. So it just so happens that my travel pitch features were the ones getting picked up because that's my circle. And but I have, like, because I like design, I did an essence piece on Jewel Pearson, her tiny house. So that was kind of my leeway to that. And I'm doing a piece now on fashion for Essence, but that's just what I've done thus far that you all can see is travel writing.
so not to talk about your specific budget, but if all things work out right, how much could somebody expect to make from, let's say, what's the ballpark for a travel magazine to, like, let's say they love your idea, they want you to write an article about it. Could you give like a
So you,
range? How much you
so
can
you can
expect to
get
make?
in print. It depends on the publication, right? So, in print, what was my essence? My essence was $1 per word, right?
That is
Um,
good.
so you can get $1 per word. You can get more than that for depending on the piece, depending on the word count. Um, so yeah, essence was essence $2 a word. I can't remember. I think it was. You can get up to $1 to $2 a word for print, right? So it's just based on how many pieces can you turn out, right? How many pieces can you pitch? How many yeses can you get, and how much pieces can you turn out? For if you go to the big leagues, National Geographic, they give more. You know what I mean? You can get money depending on what level you on. Digital, it's a range too. Like Essence gives more. Essence gives a certain amount for digital, travel and leisure because they have a huge subscription base, a larger subscription base. They give more for digital. Uh, so it's a range. You can get anywhere. If you start locally, you might get like $100 for digital. Then you go to mid level, $400 for digital. Then you go to a big time, they may give 800 for digital. So it depends. It's a range. You got to each couple of publications is different. They all have their submission. They have those things in their submission. How to submit to us. You can find that information.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how much you make is based on how many. It's a hustle. That's why it's not easy because it's still a hustle. We talk about on these in these YouTube streets about not wanting to hustle. It is still a hustle. That's why I don't call it easy. You got to pitch. You got to it's still a job. You're still an entrepreneur for yourself.
And to put some of that in context, so like a blog would be anywhere between 300 and 500 words. I've seen some blogs, depending on the niche, be like 1,000 or 1,500 words. So $1 per word is nice. $1 per
Yeah,
word is a nice rate. Very
dollar per
nice.
word
Very demure.
is a nice. Yeah, yeah. Like and some of these like yeah, yeah. Like you do have to kind of negotiate.
So you do
What
negotiate.
I do now. I didn't when I first started, but yeah, I do now. And then you can say if they say this is the much we can take, and I can say, well, I can't do it. You know what I mean? So I have walked away from some stuff because I'm not doing 1,000 words for this. You know what I mean? So yeah, yep.
Okay, that's nice. You've
Which is
given
why I
people
don't
a
do
lot of
local a lot
tips.
because local don't give a lot of money. You know what I mean? I don't do or local here, local in New York, might, but local here. I'm in Pittsburgh. It's a smaller city, but I'm here because the cost of living is lower. So that's another thing. As a writer, I can't live as a emerging writer because that's what I am. I cannot live where I want to because I need to be able to afford where I am, and I'm still writing. I'm still my content, my fiction content is still Pittsburgh based. So I stay here a lot, just for the research. But it's affordable. I can travel when I want to. I don't need a car. I make sacrifices. In this writing life, in my writing life, I'm making sacrifices. I stay here for other reasons, but I stay here because it is affordable. I don't need a car. Um, all of that, me saving money, I can use it to travel, right? I can use it to do the things I want. So
Okay. Okay.
if I lived in Atlanta, where some of my family is, the cost of living is higher. I would have to get a job to because I need a car to get around. There's certain things that you need in different cities to, you know, make it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
So tell us a little bit about your novel.
My novel is tentatively titled Cozily Loop at the Center of the World, at the Crossroads of the World. Pittsburgh was known as the crossroad of the world during the Jazz Age. A lot of people don't know that Pittsburgh was a jazz city, just like New Orleans, just like Kansas City, just like Harlem. It's a robust, and it still is, jazz culture. So my novel is based in Pittsburgh, in the Hill District, during the Jazz Age, and my protagonist is Cozy Lee. She's an empath. So that's my first book. Right now, I'm working on my second book. I'm shopping my first book. Right now, I'm working on my second book, which is the sequel to that book. So yeah, that is the nutshell what my novel is about.
So
Uh,
when you say you're shopping your book, could you explain to the people what that means?
Okay, so shopping my book, I'm sending it out for agent representation. So just for you all to know, I'm not self-publishing my book. I'm a lit girl, so I'm going traditional literary world
So what went into the decision to not self-publish your book?
because okay, okay.
I'm very surprised to hear this, by the way,
Okay, because
because
the books that
I'm detecting some elitism. So let's hear it.
it's not it's
Better
not elite.
you, better
It's not
you than
elitism.
me.
Okay, it's not elitism, but you tell me, have you read a self-published novel? And this is just for novels. This is not for self-help. This is not
I'm
for
talking about
nonfiction. That's mine. Right. Have you read a self-published fiction book that you love? I'll wait. Anybody in the comments? Have you if you read a memorable self-published fiction book that you love that you would reread or that sticks in your mind? Name one.
tell you why I have a problem with self-publishing. Because not enough work is put into editing and formatting. Okay?
Because people don't think they need it. That's
Because
why.
people don't think they need it,
Because
they don't
right.
or they don't find actual editors to edit their
Or
work.
they don't haven't workshopped it. We've been talking about all this time. We've been on this phone, I mean on this podcast talking about going to workshop your piece to get feedback, to improve in your craft, to have somebody tell you this is not good, you need to do it again. Right? You need that to create. You need that time to create your voice, to create your talent, to build on your talent. You need those communities. If you don't have those communities and you just say, "Oh, this is what I'm writing. I'm putting it out there."
So, in a previous life, I was an editor for a couple of independent publishers.
Me too.
Okay?
Same. Yes.
And I was severely underpaid, could not make a living out of it, right? But when I tell you in my editing process, some of that was rewriting,
And the pushback, baby. The pushback,
was crazy.
the pushback, like this is perfect, and baby, no, it's not. The pushback, no, no, and these are people who came to, and not self-published, but independent, small printing presses that me too, book doctor. I became a book doctor
Yeah. Because they
because
needed surgery, because it needed to
that
come open and take stuff
yes,
out.
yes. So most self-published stuff, and I'm not, whatever. I ain't read everybody's stuff, but most self-published stuff is they have not gone through any type of process, and they just put it out. No, no, no. So that's no. And you need that. You just need feedback. You need room to grow. You need other writers, not your friends. You need other writers to help you get to that level, to see what you are not seeing in your work, especially when you're just starting out, especially if you don't have an MFA, especially all of these things. You don't have a background in this thing. I think I'm the, you can't tell me, right? But I know somebody need to look at this. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm not self publishing. That's one reason.
But what would you say to the people who would say that to go, okay, I have 2 points. To go through the traditional publishing process, are you seeking validation from the Wahites?
I want, no, I want, listen, but it's because, no, it's because the books that I love, right? Tony Moore, the writers that I love, I like, and okay, let's break this down. I'm a literary writer. There are different type of genres, right? I'm not. I want my books to commercially sell, right? But the books that I value, aside from science fiction, I have a whole, because we still haven't talked about our book club, but I have a whole.
Oh, I
I'm a
love
science.
N.K. Jemisin.
Yes, this is my suggestion that we read. But okay, okay. But I'm a lit girl, historical fiction girl. So these are the books that stick with me, right? Um, Alice Walker. These are the books that stick with me because they mean something, because they give something to society. Because although it's fiction, what they're writing about lend something to our culture. That's what I'm writing for, right? I'm not. I wanted to make money too. I wanted to make money too. But I'm writing for this reason. And for this reason, it needs to be traditional writing. It needs to be in traditional writing. So I had my reasons. And I want the prize.
So my
Valid. I
second point, so my second
want the
point would
prize.
be, isn't it more difficult for Black authors to get published through traditional publishing houses?
Yes. Hmm.
Which is
Yep.
why a lot of Black
Well,
authors choose to
but
self-publish.
again, it goes back to, okay. So my goals for a writer, right? To be a writer, my goal, my overall arching goal is to write literature for Black women from this area, to put writers, Black women writers on the map for Pittsburgh, to tell our stories, to be widely read in this country, in the city, in this region, in this country, and internationally, to put us on the map, like August Wilson did for the Hill District for plays. He's nationally known. Um, that's my goal, right? To get our stories, this story about the Hill District, about where I'm from, into international hands. That won't happen with self publication,
Yeah.
period.
And
This
I don't want to
stories
start
that
the
you
diaspora.
write are,
I don't want.
yes,
I don't want to start the diaspora wars. But Black Americans, we have this thing where we're like, I know my story is good. I'm gonna put it out myself. That's cool. But to get it on a global scale,
yes,
you need the backing of a traditional publishing house.
yes,
And we need your representation. We need your stories.
yes,
Because I'm reading so right now for a Black author, this is a very, very good time just in literary history for us because I see
yes.
so many, not just Black, but diverse authors on the shelves.
And
Not
Africa is
many,
doing this right now. Most of my
exactly.
stuff,
Not many
most
Black
of
Americans.
yes, yes. So because we had, Black women writers had a great time in the 80s, in the 90s,
Yeah,
right? That was Terry McMillan, that was all of us, right? But it shifted a little bit, and now it's because stories are amazing. The African writers are doing their thing, right?
yeah,
So yeah, it's just what it's, and it's not, what I do is not for everybody. Like, some people just want to write their story to get it out, to say I have a book, right? There's nothing wrong with that. And I would say for people who are writing nonfiction, if you just write, if you want to do your travel journal, you're writing your own memoir, those things, I would say that's a route. Self publication is a route for that, for those goals. My goal is different, so that's why I chose traditional publishing, or I'm trying to choose traditional publishing, right? And okay, I listen. What? No, I don't have to self publish. No.
I don't have to self-pub. I don't have to because my work speaks for me.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the publishing process. So you said that you're searching for a literary agent right now. What has that process been like for you? Why are you starting out with the literary agent as opposed to essentially pitching a publishing house first by yourself?
I'm going for the the big five publishing. You need an agent,
You need an agent.
and that's number one.
Yeah.
And agents know what to ask for. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an agent. They know how to represent your work. You need an agent. If you're going the
Also,
traditional route, they know how to. They
editors
know.
editors at a big publishing house don't want to talk to you. Not you
Right,
specifically, but you. Everybody. They
right.
don't want to talk to anybody. They only speak to agents.
And they can hook you up. Okay, so I sent my first book out, right? Cousily at the Crossroads. I sent it out. Agents were interested, right? Oh, we interested in this. They had their own circle of editors. right? They have their own, like how we have to create our community. They have their own community of people. They know who to send it to. We're coming in blind. We don't know these people. I don't know these people. We coming in blind, so you don't even know who's gonna like it. What editors are interested in what you're writing. They have those. They have those networks. They work for you, and then on top of that, they can give you a better deal than you can for yourself. So that's why. If you want the money, you can go. You don't know. You don't even know what they're asking for. You don't know what to ask for. You don't know what this contract is. All of that. It's just like going into the music industry, right? They got ripped off because they signed with the first person, the first whoever came and said, "Okay, sign this money." You signed away your whatever. But that's why, because I'm coming in blind. I'm over here perfecting my craft. I don't have time to try to, I know a little bit about the contract, but the agents know, and they have the connections
Yeah,
for the editors in the publishing houses. That's
yeah.
why. And a
I
lot of people do self publishing because they don't want to go through that. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say your agent is probably gonna be your right hand, right? Like they're the ones making sure that you're not getting screwed over in your contract. Because similar to the music industry, writers will get screwed over in their contracts, you know? If you think, "Oh, I'm gonna publish this book, I'm gonna get this book published, I'm gonna be rich."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna buy the rights to your book and we're only gonna give you like 50K." And you're like, "Oh, okay, it's 50K," but when you think about what a salary is and you're
Yes.
not working,
Yes.
you're
There's
not
a I remember,
working.
going there's a story about a when the street fiction was out, and LGBT fiction just came on. He was a big seller. I ain't gonna say the name. He was a big seller, and there was it wasn't even a story. It was fact. The publishers were calling him back, asking for the um the advance, calling him back to ask for the advance. No, like he's selling all this. Listen, get you an agent, or at least a what is it called? A lawyer. It's a specific type of lawyer to negotiate your contract. Basically, no, yeah.
Not ask for it back. I've heard stories like that too. Like she sent in, I can't remember her name, but they she sent in like the first draft of her novel, and they were like, "Oh, this isn't what we thought it was gonna be. Can you rewrite it?" And it's like, "Girl, this is 300
But no,
pages.
that's the
Rewrite
thing.
what?"
That's the thing. No, the rewriting is a thing. Listen, that's why it has people keep. Another thing about being a writer, don't tell people what you're doing. Don't tell people in real time what you're doing. Every time I go outside, how's the book? How's the book? How's the book? Okay. But I sent it out. Agents liked it, loved it, right? Send us some more pages. The notes that I got, they like my style, they like my voice. Rewrites. They want these rewrites. That's another thing you won't have to just like when people were sending it to us you know as independent editors or small
Hmm.
press editors. I was telling you, get the same information. You need to rewrite this. It was pushed back because they thought it was great. No, you need to rewrite this. So rewrites are a thing.
Yeah.
Rewrites are a thing. Yes, it's a
So it's
thing.
like even if you finish the book and you're like, it took me 10 years to write this. This is
Yes,
my this is my great American novel. I'm 10 years.
rewrites are a thing.
And then they give
Yes.
it back and they're like, "Can you just take?" They're like, "I
And
don't know if
that's
this
the
is
and
what we're
that's the
looking
and that's
for."
the threshold to making you. If you listen, if I get to that point, whatever, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. I'm not doing this another damn thing. You know how many drafts I got of these damn books sitting around this house? I can't even show you my house. They on the floor. All these drafts. Once it gets to that point, I'm not writing another. What y'all want me to do? Oh my god.
Right.
No. Yes.
Just tell
Yes.
me what you want at this point.
And I'm a perfectionist. It's terrible. I can't, like, that's what they had to tell me. I went to the workshops. They had to tell me, stop rewriting this. Stop rewriting this and go to the next section. Like, this is stop. Write your rough draft and get it out. Stop rewriting these sections. So
Yeah.
anyway.
I think that's why a lot of writers get stuck is because they want to make it perfect. And it's like, okay, but girl, we only 10 pages in. We need you to get to the ending of the story. Get it out
Yep.
first
I did that
and
for the
then
first
focus on
one.
rewriting.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
So how do you get out of that creative block? What's something that you do when you feel like you're stuck figuring something out?
It's it's people say just leave it alone for a second. When you're like, it'll come to you like when you're washing dishes, when you're taking a walk, that whatever you're stuck on, you're trying to work it out. I just walk away. I just put it down, and like an idea will come doing something totally unrelated. So that's one way. I use music. Music. Well, I'm writing a book about jazz, but music is my muse a lot of times. So that's another way. And reading other people's stuff. So if you're stuck on how to do something, especially like your pacing, I had a problem with pacing for early on. I'm like, and people would say that, but I was like, I don't understand what you mean because I'm teaching myself basically how to do this, right?
Mhm.
So reading other people's works, reading other novels, you know, would show me, okay, this is how they got through it, how they did it. Let me try it my way, or let me try it that way, and then change it up a bit. So those are three of my main. Just leave it alone. Go do something unrelated. Go have some fun. Come back to it later. Um, music is a really gets me out of my head for a second, and then back focus, and then reading other stuff, reading other people's stuff.
Yeah. They say that reading makes you a better writer, and I think that's very true.
Very true. Right.
So, what are
Which
you reading?
yes, which leads us to what we're reading, right? Okay. So and then I buy a book. Okay, so this I have so many books that I buy. So this is what brings us to this topic. We are going to do a reading virtual reading group with you all. Whoever wants to join, because we need more time for pleasure reading, right? I need more time
Yes.
to pleasure reading. I say that all the time, and I buy these books, and I never, I crack them open, I read a few pages, and then I don't finish, right? So right now, I am in the middle of reading Destiny, Bird Songs, Nobody's Magic. You know Destiny?
Mm.
Okay, so I'm reading this, Nobody's Magic. It has won some awards. It has been out there. I bought this when it debuted. I had not finished reading. So this, I'm reading The Vanishing Half by
Oh,
Britt
it's on
Bennett.
my list.
Yes, I'm reading this. I'm rereading Sing Unburied Sing.
Yeah. I love
And this,
Jasmine Ward. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
she's from New Orleans.
I think so too. I'm reading her. I already showed you all. I'm reading N.K.
We
Jemisin.
love N.K. Jemisin. We
I
love her.
love Jemison. Yeah, so those who I'm reading now, all those people, I'm finishing. I'm on the series, the Obelisk Gate series, the Stone Sky. I'm on this one, so it's the last of her series here. But yeah, that's who I'm reading. I've read. Have you all read The Secret Lies of
Yes. Church
Church?
Ladies. Yes.
Yes, read that. So yeah, that's some of my. And I'm trying. Like few years ago, because I kept rereading like the classics, right? I kept rereading the classics. I was like, okay, I need to read more contemporary writers. So I'm trying to be more, instead of rereading Octavia Butler over and over again, like okay, let me read NK, right? So yeah,
But that's why I was saying it's a good time to be a black writer right now because there's a lot for us to get into. We have a lot of options. And
yes,
even like you pulling up some of these books and me recognizing it, it's because we're all tapped in to the
yes,
same, you know what I mean? Like we're all in the same vein. We're like, oh, okay, this is a black writer. Let me add it to the list. Okay,
right.
like, so, yes, so
And
we starting a book
those are
club.
just women writers, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So we're starting a book club. I made a post about it on, I think it's on my YouTube page, but I really want to know what everybody is reading. What should we read first? Like, does anybody have any suggestions? Drop down in the comment section. Hit me up on
No self
Instagram.
help. We're reading for pleasure. This
No
is no
self
self.
help. No nonfiction.
No, we're reading for pleasure, people.
This I have that on
We
my
have the
own time.
podcast. We have the podcast for self help. We have enough
Right.
podcasts. We have enough self help books. No self help.
No self help. No. No. Only doesn't have to be literary fiction. It could be
No, it could be
sci-fi.
fun, erotic fiction.
It
It
could
could
be
be
erotic,
whatever.
it could be
Yeah,
romance.
yeah.
Yes. Hi D from H. I'm assuming it's D and not H. But hello. Hello, hello. Um, so yeah, I mean, we've had an amazing discussion. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to talk about? I feel like
No,
we did a
you
lot.
know, I
We
don't
did a
like,
lot.
you know, I like my business. Um, so no, we ain't got to ask no personal stuff. No.
Really, because
Um,
this is the place where we get into your personal business. So
look, I've been in these streets. Y'all can't get into my personal business. I be in these
in the
streets.
streets, in what way?
That's a that's a probing question. Well, anyway,
Anyway,
anyway, um, no, I would just say if you want more information on writing workshops or conferences for Black and Brown people, hit me up. I'm gonna have something for you there. If you want information on pitching, hit me up. But no, I really want to talk about our book club. So, what books do you suggest we start reading? What books are on your list?
a lot of books on my list. I'm putting up my Audible because I've told myself I'm not buying any more books. But some
I know. I
Insa,
don't want to buy
who
anymore.
isn't in the chat today, said she would buy me a book, and I really appreciate that. So on my list is The Sun Sets in Singapore by Kehinde Fadife.
Yes,
Yes,
I like that
Immortal
suggestion.
Dark, Immortal Dark by Taijas Gurma.
I haven't heard of that one. Okay.
Grown Women by Sarai Johnson.
She said she said we're a family. Spill the tea.
Listen,
Angela. Angela, I have a reputation to uphold.
do you?
Absolutely not.
Anyways,
Yes.
anyways, um, let's see. I have some rom-com stuff. How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams.
Is that a fiction book?
Yes.
Okay. So I say this. Let's just put some suggestions out there since no one is suggesting. Have any suggestion?
Yeah,
Maybe
since
we
no one
have
has any suggestions.
maybe we
I
put like
don't know.
a poll to see.
Yeah, like we come up with like maybe five options and we see what
Yep.
everybody wants to read.
Yes. Let's do that.
Yeah, I think we'll do that.
Let's do that.
Um, not Angela laughing. We're not gonna put her business out on Front Street if she doesn't want us to. Maybe she'll tell me in our messages and I'll
That's
tell you
another
guys
easy.
later.
That's another conversation.
Don't worry, I'll get the tea and I'll tell everybody next week. So, but anyways,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm gonna create a poll and you guys can just vote or you can put in the comment section something that you want us to all read together. I think that'll be
Yes.
really fun.
We haven't
Yvonne,
talked about the parameters of this group. Is it 1 month, once a month, once a what is it? Is
I
it
think once a month. I feel like once a
once a
month.
month or once every two
Because
months?
how long does it depends on the book, doesn't it?
It depends on the people too, the group. First of all, we need to make sure that y'all are interested in doing this. That's number one. That's number one. We just gonna be
It's
us.
giving it's
We can have
giving
a book chat. We can have a book chat, just me and you know.
and that's what I'm
But
saying. It's giving it's just gonna be me and you and everybody.
well, we see what the replay people say on the replay.
Yeah. We'll see what they
But when I
say.
announced it, Rashadat, they were interested when I said something on her video. So when people watch on the replay, they'll give their input.
Yeah, give your input. Um, we have. A message from D and Gamble. Great pod. Looking forward to more interesting perspective on major publishing versus self-publishing. Good stuff. Ran across the channel on my feed and wasn't subscribed. As a self-publisher myself, I clicked. Thanks. Hi, DM Gamble.
Hi, Tim Gamble. I will have some
Thanks for the
information. I will
sub.
have out because my her Keyoka's is more travel based. My YouTube is going to be more writing based and more stuff on publication. So yeah, and
Yes.
I don't exclude. So I will have information on self publishing as well.
Yes. And I'm going to put a link to Yvonne's channel in the chat. I pinned it. And it's also going to be in the description of this video.
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I don't have any more questions.
Good.
Um, I think I'm gonna create a poll so we can decide on the book to read, and we'll see how much interest is in it. Because if everybody's not interested, you know what I'm thinking? I feel
What?
like you and I just read a book together, and then we come on and we talk about it. And if
Okay.
they want to join in, they can join in.
Okay. I think we're going to get a little bit. At least I'm looking for like at least 8 ladies. If we get 8, I'm good. If we get 8, I'm good. But this is what I will say: I do have some inroads to some of these people, some of these authors. So if we
Ooh,
read some books, if we get a huge an amount, we can get them to come on and do a chat with us, maybe.
that would be really
So
cool.
the more interest, the more people are interested, the more in depth we can do this writing group thing.
Definitely. I like that.
I'm just putting it out there. Okay.
I like that.
To
I
get
like
more
that.
information and then, to get more professional information on, you know, the literary world.
And we can grill them on things like publishing and writing and
Yes.
everything else.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I love that idea. Well,
Mhm.
thank you for coming down to the channel. I always love to have you. I always love to chat with you. Is there any advice that you want to leave the people with? Let's say these are
I would
all
say
fledgling writers.
I would say for whatever kind of writer you are, if that's a dream of yours, right? Because we are dream catchers, not dream seekers. We are dream catchers. If that's a dream of yours, then start writing. If you have already start writing, then explore the writing literary world to network, to create your writing circle, to get into those writing rooms. Start submitting. If you have some stuff, start submitting 2 different workshops, 2 different conferences. Yeah, if you wanted to freelance, start pitching. Just start, just begin. Like we said in the beginning, it's never too late to dream another dream. If that's a dream of yours, get started.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah,
All right, y'all. We've been on here chit chatting it up. I'll
we
catch
have.
you next time. Yeah.
All right, coming, ladies. Peace.
Bye.